I'm Scott Goss, chef patron here of the 26. The restaurant has been going now for 2 years, it'll be 2 years in September. We wanted to create a creative hub where we can take beautiful classical dishes and twist them ever so slightly without making them unapproachable or scary. Taking those classic flavours and putting our own interpretation on those flavours to create a wonderful dining experience for 26 customers every night. The dish we're going to be cooking today is a beautiful dry-aged rib of grass-fed beef, and that's going to be accompanied with onions, so essentially it's beef and onions, again them classical flavours that we know work really well. So yeah, that's the dish we're going to be cooking. The dish starts its life off in the kitchen as the four rib of beef, beautiful 40-day aged, dry-aged, grass-fed beef, as I said, shorthorn beef. Beautiful, delicious. The fat marbling to meat ratio is just perfect. You know, it's the real steak lovers cut of meat, so that's why we chose this cut. So we're going to prep that down. We're going to get 4 beautiful sort of 1 kilo weight ribs of beef. We're going to cook that over the open fire. As we put the wood into the fire, we let that get to white heat, and then we start to cook the beef. Once we've got that beautiful char on the outside, we just raise the beef above the fire and let the smoke, for as long as we can allow it, several hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, whatever it may be, just continuously turning the beef so it's capturing the flavour of the smoke as it comes up. Once that's done, we're baking some hay on the stove. Obviously hay, the grass-fed beef works really well together. So we bake that. We then take the rib of beef and we vat pack it, which is a very, you know, chefy technique, I know. But we actually vat pack the beef with the hay to capture in all of that flavour. And by doing this, it allows us to cook it long and slow and very consistent all the way through. So we cook that at an hour and a half, 58 degrees in the water bath. And then that's out, that's refreshed into ice cold water to stop that cooking. And then, you know, again, it allows us to serve it as a lovely ambient temperature, the perfect temperature for the beef. From there, it's just a nice generous slice of the beef, you know, again, a right amount of fat to meat content. So while that's kind of happening, we're concentrating on the dressing. So, you know, the wood has cooled down now, so we can take a nice piece of the wood out of the fire, which, you know, remember the juices from the beef have been dripping on that wood. There's flavour in that wood that we have to capture. So we take the wood into a bowl, we take the hay that we've just baked the beef in, or water bath the beef in. We mix them two together. We take all the juices that we've rested from the beef, we add that to the wood and the coal, and then we just bind that together with a little rapeseed oil, and we let that sit all day, just again at a nice ambient temperature within the kitchen. And then the next day when we come in, we pass that whole dressing through muslin several times, so it's a real refined, dark but full of flavour dressing. It's got the flavour of the wood, the hay and the beef. Like I said, all the hard work's been done for us. We've just put the ingredients together. To cut through that, just a very simple little bit of crème fraîche on the side of the plate. Just helps cut through the intense smokiness that we've given the beef. And then to finish it off, a lovely dressed shallot petals, which we've just marinated in a little Caterer vinegar, some crispy shallot rings, and we make a little powder out of the shallots. So the very last thing we do with the fire is we put the shallots in the ash. We let just that initial heat slowly cook the shallots for the rest of the day. We then split them in half, we roast them in the oven, we dry them out, blitz them to a powder. Again, a little bit of the baked hay goes into the shallots as well, and that makes a lovely powder which we season with some smoked sea salt, and that's just dusted on the plate just as that last little integral smoky roasted barbecue, all the flavours marrying together really. That's it. That's the dish.